Hello and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and with us as always is our resident football expert, Tate Mathews. Tate, I'm a little under the weather, son. You're going to have to carry the show like you do every week.
Well, it's tough, but somebody's got to do it. But you're here, right? You're playing hurt, playing injured.
That's what I do
Proud
best,
of you.
man.
That's right.
I stay,
Grinder.
I stay hurt.
As your boy B. Wirt would say, you're a hashtag grinder.
I make a lot of people's ears bleed week in and week out, and this week will be no exception.
I was hoping you would wear that hat that you wore on game day Friday. I think that ought to be your new get-up.
That hat will make an appearance on this show at some point in time. But speaking of that, let's just talk about that for a moment. You're talking about WCS game day, live from Battle of the Woods on Friday. What a crowd.
It was unbelievable. I mean, if we're going to be fair, let's be fair. That's the biggest crowd ever at a game day, ever. So I hope somebody tops it, but it's going to be tough because half the stadium was full, half the stands, home stands were full. 50 minutes before kickoff.
Visitor side was full.
Brentwood came out in full. I wish there was a way we could find out how to get them both, but that would have been pretty neat. But yeah. It was unbelievable crowd. That's all you can say about it.
Stephanie Dykes, who's over the cheerleaders at Ravenwood, she wants us to have a new Wilco's category of the best student section. Who would your thoughts be on that?
Man, are we talking just football, basketball? You know, what's the criteria?
It is pretty tough. If you look at the overall body of work, let's just strictly stay football right now for the moment.
Right now, you got to go Ravenwood.
Tell you what, one thing I did see about them.
Don't send me any ugly tweets.
Couple kids got
doesn't mean the others aren't really good.
A couple kids got hurt. Some bad things were happening towards the end, and they were still cheering them on, and they had chants specifically for those people. Thought it was pretty neat. You know, it is what it is. And it stayed classy. It stayed classy the whole night. Brentwood got the best of them, 31-28. What an epic battle showdown this was. WCTV game of the week, obviously. We talked about it all week. What was going to be the difference in this game? We knew that the offenses were there for both teams, electrifying playmakers, the two best receiving corps in the entire WCS Sports Conference, two great quarterbacks. Cade Granzow, are you kidding me? What a performance by this guy. And then, like you mentioned, little Brett Favre himself, Brian Garcia, all 5'5", 140 pounds of this kid. They couldn't get him down. And let me tell you something. Has a cannon for an arm, but there was a defensive touchdown in this game. Did it make the difference in the game?
Well, I think without a doubt, of course. And they were down 14-0, weren't they, when that play happened? And what a momentum changer! And it was big. And the thing about it is, as you'll see, that's what's pretty neat. That was game planning and practice. That you can tell that was done. That play was made possible during the week. That was something they practiced on. That's something they worked on. He made his read. He knew it was coming, and he dropped and made a great play. And, it was a momentum swinger without a doubt. Well, you mentioned, did that give him a chance? Without a doubt it did. They only won by 3 points, and there were 7 of them right there. So, and then the way it's looking like this region's going to shake out, that play right there might have, of course,
a lot of games to be played.
A lot of games to be played and a lot of plays in that game. But without that play, Brentwood might not be sitting at the top of this region at the end of the season, which I think right now they got a really strong chance to do.
In week 4, Tank Starr got the fumble recovery for a touchdown, for a defensive touchdown from Brentwood. He forced a lot of plays on defense during the Battle of the Woods. He forced him Garcia out of the pocket a lot. Of course, Garcia likes to get out of the pocket, but he this kid's a good player. I think there's going to be a college that's going to pick up Tank Starr, and they're going to realize this kid is better than advertised. We don't go through all the 4- and 5-star fanfare and all the announcements and the releases and whatnot. But this kid is a really good player for Coach, and he had a great game this game. But, you look at Granzow, look at what he did. 7-11, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. None more important or time sensitive, if you will, to the fade route to Bishop on a one-on-one route that he beat the corner from Ravenwood on. It was a perfectly thrown ball that only Bishop could catch or nobody could catch.
Right. Yeah, and he's the only one who can streak like that. Avery Williams had a beautiful catch. It wasn't for a touchdown, but I think it was on a 3rd down. He had a very nice one, and the guys just Bishop can run that go route as well as anybody in the mid-state. maybe the state. But Granzow, that's the scary thing. And we kind of talked about that on game days, is kind of flipped. Last year, Ravenwood was the one with the sophomore quarterback who was inexperienced, but Granzow's getting better every week. He's got a really strong arm. He can throw those go routes where those guys, he's not underthrowing them. That's what I think is the best thing. And he can also beat you with your feet. But 3 touchdowns. He had 1 to Bishop, he had 1 to Nicholas, and then 1 to Carson Dreyer.
Not to be confused with Caden.
That's right. Pretty neat. And like I said, Avery Williams didn't get in the end zone, but he had a great long 3rd down conversion catch. So Granzow's really playing well. But yeah, if that interception return for a touchdown jump started it all, and then they went on with 21 more unanswered points. But that offense is really playing well. Granzow's he's gonna throw for a lot of touchdowns in the next 3 years.
Well, 4 of the receivers obviously got involved. It's pretty neat that they spread the wealth each game. They have about the same amount of yardage each receiver from Brentwood Bruins. But who gets the story this week? A defensive touchdown on a pick 6. And that brings us to the WCTV Player of the Week.
So Garcia again looks to throw over the middle, intercepted.
Ryan Howard. He's got a shot. He's got to carry the young man. Touchdown.
So a pick 6 for Brentwood.
Zaire Howard, the junior, 5'11", 183 exactly. You see the replay here. That's Garcia on just a quick, going to hit the tight end, and Howard reads it like a glove, and he is gone. And big fella says, all right, Garcia, I'm going to take it for about a 5-yard ride here, and that could bring a sigh of life back into the Bruin faithful.
There he was, defensive touchdown for the Bruins. Pretty much the outcome, made the outcome of this game. The difference in this game was a pick 6 from Zaire Howard. Man, baited him right into the pass.
Yeah, made a great play, went up and got it, and had he not, I don't know how long, if you go back and watch that wide receiver, the safety had bailed. He had a lot of grass in front of him. That was going to be a long, long game, maybe even take it all the way to the end zone. So great play by him, turned the game, and then, as we know, it ended up going down to the very end. Ravenwood had a chance to recover an onside kick and then have a chance to win. I tell you another guy, he doesn't get mentioned enough, but Tabor Miller, the kicker for Brentwood, he field goal.
He's got a rocket foot, man.
Oh, he's a great soccer player. Actually, he game-winning field goal against Franklin, and then obviously they won by 3 points this game. He's helping with kickoffs. That negates the return game. He's helping them on punting. He played really, really well too. Glad for him. He's a soccer guy who they got out in the kicking, and I believe he's just a junior, so they've got another year of him. But he's got a live foot, doesn't he?
He does. Independence 24, Franklin 7. I believe this game surprised a lot of people. Franklin both of these teams looking to keep a heartbeat in this Region 6, 6A matchup, or in region play, that is, to get themselves in playoffs. Just Independence was the better team tonight.
Without a doubt, and the offense showed up and playing really well. And Ethan Cash comes out 27 of 37 for 318 yards and 2 touchdowns to Sheffield and Collier. You were talking about best receiving duos. Those two, they feel like they got a pretty good claim for best as well. Isaiah was 148 yards and a touchdown. TJ was right under 100. But obviously another touchdown. Had a 2-point conversion, but there's so many programs across the state that they wish they had 1 quarterback. And here we go, and Independence has 2. So who knows what they'll do when everybody is back. But Coach Blade, if anybody knows how to do it, it's him. But Ethan kind of brings a little bit of a different skill set than Cisco does, and the end result over 300 yards. And this, go back and look. I think sometimes there's so many games and we forget, but this is a Franklin defense that's been playing really, really well. And so 24 points, and they're also on the defensive side, the Independence defensive side, which, that's kind of the side of the ball they've been struggling on a little bit. They forced 3 interceptions from a team that doesn't throw a whole lot of interceptions. So big win. Matthew Rigney, the punter, 46.5 yards per punt. You can win with that. That's flipping the field, right? Field position. And, they just really, really did a good job. The defense really did a good job of disrupting the passing game of Franklin's all night. Chancellor Bright, a guy who's become a big downfield threat. They didn't let him get any on Independence. So defense played really well. I think that's even more so than the story of how well Cash played at the quarterback position. I think the defense from Independence, I think Coach Blake would tell you, that's the best the defense has played all year long. Matt Gacka, over 100 yards total offense again and a touchdown. He was the lone touchdown for Franklin in the second quarter.
Well, it was a tale of two tales. You mentioned Franklin has pretty much been known for their defense, right? Docker defense. All through the years we've been calling them that. Independence came into this game giving up over 22 points per game.
Crazy.
They hold Franklin to 7, and Independence scores 24.
Well, they won they played well on offense. They won the turnover battle, and I think Coach Webb will tell you the way they play football at Franklin, if they lose the turnover battle, it's going to be tough to win.
Well, looking at Franklin going down the road, obviously they got a really tall task this week in a non-region foe in Hendersonville. Hendersonville having a really good year so far, 4-1, 2-0 in their region. What do the Rebels have to do right now to get themselves back in a position to win?
I don't know. I think it's really kind of it's inside that locker room. I think we know there's talent, right? And
they just have to believe.
Yeah, and
they've got the hardest schedule of anybody in the WCS.
I think so, without a doubt. And this Hendersonville team is tough. Now the good thing is they like to run the ball, so. But I think they've got to, whatever it is they're going to be on offense, and I think they know what it is, and it's a nice balance between the run and the pass. And but they have to play solid defense. They got to be able to run the ball with some passing in it, but they can't lose the turnover battle, and they really can't do it against Hendersonville because they're not going to put the ball in the air a whole lot.
Well, Centennial gets a big-time Region 6-6A win. They needed this, 42-17 over Dixon County. What do we know about that game?
Grayson Marcel, another big game, right at 198 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, one of them to Jariel. Jariel, golly, Coach, 12 carries, 128 rushing yards, and a touchdown. My man Johnny Crouch, the kicker, got another touchdown, 14. He had 1 carry, 14 yards, touchdown. Gustafson played really well. This is an offense that we've seen. Sometimes they struggle a little bit on defense, but they're going to score points every night, and that gives them a chance to win. But I don't know. And Grayson Marcel, I think he's kind of the newcomer of the year.
Man, what are you talking about? Came out of nowhere. Look what he did this week.
Just blowing up.
10 of 18, 198, 2 touchdowns.
And that's probably his lowest statistical game of the season, And then, I hate saying the best because there's not a best, but I don't think anybody has been more productive than Jariel has all year long.
Without a doubt. Now, funny thing is, it's a quiet game for Shari Hainsworth. I keep telling you to keep the radar on him.
That's right.
Keep the radar on him. I don't think this game was probably one of those that you might have a big stat night from that particular position just because of the fact it was a boat race. But wait till the Kreisky Bowl happens. You might need him. Guess who's going to be there? Ashari Hainsworth.
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Nolensville, boat race, Lawrence County, 42-14. This team just keeps on ticking. You know what they're averaging right now, point-wise?
35.
34.
Wow.
Very close. Very nice. 34 points per game. Their lowest total obviously came from the Summit game when they had 13, but other than that, they've scored in the 40s. Nolensville is rolling right now. Now, they did play a winless Lawrence County, but you still have to go out and play the game. You look at their stats, probably the majority is in the first half. What do we know about this game?
Well, big game from Tim Kutras. 6 receptions, 227 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now, even more impressive than that, he got his 5th interception of the season. How many games we played, Coach? 5. That's an interception a game. That's ball hawk you type stuff,
That's
right?
Tate math that I can do.
We talked about the quarterbacks. That's right. Ryan Gallardi, 10 for 14, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brandon Wharton, first game back in 3? 6 for 7, 180, 2 touchdowns.
Efficiency. Now, they may have, look here, once again, two-headed monster. What do? Scenario-based, Wharton may come in for a particular play. Gallardi may come in for a particular play. It don't matter.
I think you got to play them both.
Both young men. Embrace it.
That's
Go
right.
with it. As long as your team's rolling right now, you're 4-1. Let's not be selfish. Embrace this thing and roll with it, man.
It's called a team.
Let's get it up. Let's go out.
Big
Page.
win. Big win. Hey, Pat Curran, first-year offense coordinator for Coach Paul Derrick's
Putting up the
Nolensville
points,
Knights.
man.
Putting up the points.
Page 41, Antioch 6. This is no surprise to us. We knew that. Hey, look, we talk about this every year. People forget about the Pats, man. Coach Rathbone and the Pats are sitting at 4-1. Here it is, week 5, halfway through the season. Undefeated in region play. Blowing out people.
Big win, and they're doing it. Trey Fonts played quarterback again this week, did a really good job. He was 8 for 16, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. He's doing a great job of managing the game, but also making plays. Michael Burdick had a touchdown and an interception. Can you imagine if you had Kutris and Burdick in the same defensive backfield? But yeah, I think it's what they're doing is really, really neat. They're missing some offensive and some defensive linemen, but Cade Ashman and Ian Smith played really well on the D-line, and Jackson Satterfield, 2 rushing touchdowns in less than 60 seconds. That's pretty explosive right there. One of them was on a turnover, but still. Hey, they're 4-1.
Don't sleep on the Patriots.
And who is their one loss to? 6A, going into last Friday night, ranked number 4 in the 6A polls, Ravenwood. It's pretty strong.
They have the biggest game of the year coming up for them, though.
Yes.
Even though they like to talk about the Battle of 840, they talk about the Ravenwood game. This game this week coming up could quite possibly be for the region crown. We'll get to that in just a moment. Fairview 21, Camden 14. Slow start for the Yellow Jackets. We both agreed that this would be a boat race in Popcorn City. Ugly, but it's a W, and we'll take it.
Yeah, Camden's obviously better than what we thought they were. They obviously had a good game plan, try to keep those guys off the field. Here's a stat for you. Fairview only had 34 offensive plays, and the run game was working. So good game plan by Camden. Coach Blow did a really good job with that game plan. But Cam Harris-Gluss, 2 more touchdowns. I think that gets him to 16 for the year. He also had an interception and a fumble recovery on defense. Logan Nardozzi, the sophomore, 123 rushing yards. So they had to come from behind to do it. But, that's good. You need some of those during the season. So not what we thought was going to happen. I don't think it's what Coach Hughes thought was going to happen, but it was a win.
And we'll take it.
That's right.
Summit 30, Columbia 21. Speaking of ugly, that first
Crazy.
half, Coach Coleman would like to throw it away. They were down 21-0 half, but came back out. Old Sparty had 30 unanswered points.
Unbelievable. All 21 Columbia points in the first half, all 30 Summit points in the second half. Eric Coleman, you want to know how Eric Coleman did? 369 rush yards to 17 passing yards. It was all rushing.
And how many passing attempts? Do you have that?
5, 2 for 5.
4 in warm-ups and 1 during the game.
Gio, 191 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 23 carries. Keaton Wade, Destin Wade, Keaton. It was Keaton.
It was the brother.
Yeah, Keaton Wade had 95 rush yards and a touchdown on 7 carries. He's coming along.
You better get ready for the last name Wade, because you're going to hear these for
see
the
it a
next
lot.
4 years. These 2 guys are special.
Danny Jackson, 1 carry, 48 yards, touchdown.
The wing T.
Eric Coleman.
Summit wins 30-21 against Columbia. All right, let's get straight into week 6. Have a good slate of games. Independence on the bye this week. Probably that's a good timing for them. Let's get
Real quick, since they're on the bye, how about this? TJ Sheffield, mid-season stats, 31 receptions, 575 yards, 4 touchdowns, 17 carries, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns, 204 return yards, 1 touchdown. Why you would kick it to him is beyond me, and this is a guy that he's getting double covered. If they can, he's getting their best shot every game, and 8 touchdowns so far midseason.
I think Purdue needs him right now.
Yeah, without a doubt, he'd help.
The Boilermakers are 0-3 after their loss this week. He's going to make a big time. He's going to make a big time player. He's going
Coach
to
Braun will
impact
get him
player.
turned around.
So, Nolensville versus Brentwood. Let's start there. Both teams coming in 4-1, 2-0, 3-0, respectfully in their regions. I just think in this game, it's got such an interesting line. I don't know how the Knights can rise to the challenge. And I say this because of the size, the depth, the speed. But then as soon as I say that,
Don't sneak up on them.
Nolensville's going to walk into this game thinking nobody gives us a chance. They're going to be potentially in this trap game, if you will, looking past the hangover from the Ravenwood game. How does Nolensville stay in this game?
I think they're going to have to be able to run the ball. I don't think they're going to be able to throw the ball up and down the field on them. I think they're going to have to be able to run the ball. You know, it sounds cliche. You see it on every show there is, but it's the truth. They're going to have to win the turnover battle. They're going to have to be able to run the ball, win the turnover battle, and you cannot, and I know it's easier said than done, but you cannot let Chase Bishop have 60-yard touchdown receptions. Avery Williams, 60-yard touchdown. You're going to have to make them grind it out and make them have 10, 11, 12 play drives and hope they get, make a mistake there and maybe get bored with it. I don't know. But those three things are going to happen if they're going to beat them. I think this game has two totally different teams, but it's kind of like the Page-Ravenwood game. There is a big, big difference between 6 and 5A and 6A and 4A ball, and it's numbers. It's called numbers. Brentwood's got more kids, But can they win it? Sure, of course they can. They got one of the best running backs in the state, and Colton Dooley, and he's going to have to hold on to the ball, and he's going to have to get a lot of carries. Win the time of possession.
He's got over 500 yards this season already.
I love him. We've loved him since 2 years ago.
Tim Staskill, Wes Miller, C.J. Ware. Those are the three names. I'm putting it squarely on their shoulders. These young men are going to have to come to play. They're going to have to win the battle in the trenches against some of the linemen from offensive linemen from Brentwood and put the pressure on Granzow. Now, Granzow can run and get into open space himself. If they keep the pressure on him, I'll take the 4 and 5 yard games versus the one reception for 20, the one reception for 60, the one reception, and so forth. So, I mean, they're going to have to put the pressure on him. But those corners, what kind of night you're going to have in that secondary for Nolensville? They're going to have to be unbelievable. And then once you put the pressure on that, what happens? Running back Jordan Nicholas tears you apart.
That's right. I'd rather that than the 60-yard touchdown pass. They're going to have a short memory. They're going to make some plays. You know that, right? So let's try to limit the plays.
Well, the Knights would love to see nothing more than a summit night. They'd love to see this thing ugly and low scoring to give themselves an opportunity to win this game. The pundits agree with us as the Bruins come in as a plus 20-point favorite.
I think that's fair.
What do you think the coaching staff at Nolensville says about plus 20?
I think they love it. And make no mistake, Coach Curran's been with Coach Crawford for about, 5 years?
Yes,
so
sir.
They both know each other really well.
Ravenwood 4-1 versus Father Ryan. They're going to avenge this loss from last year on a last-second fake throw over your shoulder, fake field goal, Brian Rector-esque style.
The Riverboat Gambler.
34-31 loss. They won't need it this year.
I don't think so, no. He's going to have no.
Talking about Riverboat, this is going to be a speedboat, Raptor fast.
After last year and then after last Friday night, there's going to need to be no motivation. I meant to say that too on the Ravenwood. They lost, okay, but 31-28. Holmes, 78-yard touchdown pass. Mason, 81-yard touchdown pass. Our boy Shane Craig with another touchdown reception. Explosive offense, man. I've seen Father Ryan. They're going to come in with a good game plan. They're going to try to run the ball. They're outmatched.
This is Stone Cold lead pipe lock of the week. The pundits have this game at plus 13. Lay it, Garrett T. Raptor Fast covers on that. Centennial 2-3 at Riverdale, who's also 2-3. This is the Kreisky Bowl. It's always throw the records out the door. Matt and Will Kreisky, twin head brothers, both head coaches. It's always an interesting matchup. Pundits like the Cougars at plus 11. What do you think?
I think so, and I think you take the over on this game because there's going to be a lot of points.
Oh, man.
Whoa, woo-woo.
Wilson. Woo-woo.
Hey, what about Dr. Vaden pulling that out in game day on Friday night?
Man, brought it out.
She was awesome. Wowo's going to have a big game. And yes, there will be an Ashari Hainsworth sighting.
Page 4-1, Summit 3-2, both undefeated in Region 5, 5A play. This is a huge game. I can't say enough about this game. The pundits have Page at plus 8. I'm having a hard time with this game right now. It's the emotions of thinking that Summit's going to, Gio and the Spartans are going to go roll with this thing. I don't know, man. Michael Burdick in there. What do you think?
I think this game comes down to which one's the healthiest, and I really don't know which one it is. I think it's an even match. They've both had some guys they've had to hold out, but I think this one could go either way. If one comes in healthier than the other, I think that gives them a big, big leg up.
Franklin 2-3, 0-3 versus Hendersonville 4-1, 2-0. Uphill battle for the Rebs. Hendersonville's going to come in, wing tee, big time lineman in the
physical.
trench. What do you think?
I just don't know which Franklin team's going to show up, but if they show up ready to play, yeah, I think they got a really good chance because I think they can score points on them. But this Hendersonville team they're physical.
Fairview 4-1, 2-0 against Greenbrier 2-3. Would that be the first?
Put your captain hat on.
We did this last week and it wasn't a good omen, but I'm going to say
No, it's back.
the poor Greenbrier team play taps for them
Boat race.
because the Yellow Jackets are back.
Boat race.
All right, let's get to it. Let's pick them real quick. Nolensville, Brentwood, we've talked about them. Who do you have? Right now, you're sitting at 29-4. You're going for a record year, dude. I'm 23-10. I got to make some ground up. Nolensville, Brentwood, who do you have?
Brentwood, Bruins, 6A, 4A. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, since I've got to make up ground, why not?
Good.
Coach Derek, we got to make up some serious ground. Knights, I'm putting it all on your shoulders to get a game back on him. I got to go with the Knights. Let's pick up the major upset. If that happens, be the biggest upset in the Tennessee coming Friday night. Ravenwood versus Father Ryan.
The Raptors are back on the winning
Are you
streak.
pulling the boat, Wilson?
I'm not going to call a boat. No, I don't. D2 AAA teams rarely get boat raced, but this is double digits. My man Brian Garcia goes off.
Plus 13, lay it all day.
Yeah.
Ravenwood wins this one. Centennial Riverdale.
Centennial.
Centennial.
Whoa, big game.
Big game. Centennial wins this as well. Page Summit is a tough one. Pundits ought to have this one at a pick'em.
Where is it?
It's at Summit.
I'm going Page.
Going Page. Good. Old Sparty rolls in this one. Franklin, Hendersonville.
Hendersonville.
Franklin. Fairview, Greenbrier. I've got a chance to make up some games this week. Fairview's going to roll. I hope you made it through with my voice. I'm sorry. Thanks for carrying me today as always, brother. This has been WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.